The survey ship Asterion drifted silently through a region of space that every map described with the same single word. Empty. No stars worth studying. No planets worth landing on. No intelligent life. For nearly 300 years, every civilization in the Coalition had avoided this forgotten sector because there was simply nothing here. Commander Celine Var stood on the bridge with her hands behind her back. Final scan. Blue holograms expanded across the command deck. The science officer answered almost immediately. No gravity anomalies. No energy signatures. No artificial structures. No biological life. The navigator smiled. I told you. This mission is a waste of fuel. Several officers laughed. Only one crew member remained silent. Ethan Cross. The only human aboard the Asterion. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't a scientist. He was hired because humans had developed a strange reputation for noticing patterns that advanced computers sometimes ignored. Most alien officers considered it superstition. Commander Celine glanced toward him. Mr. Cross, you've been unusually quiet. Ethan kept staring through the enormous observation window. I don't think we're alone. The bridge became completely silent. Then, someone laughed. The navigator folded his arms. Your scanners malfunction. Ethan slowly shook his head. No, my eyes. More laughter echoed across the bridge. The science officer looked at the sensor display. There is absolutely nothing outside. Commander Celine spoke calmly. Mr. Cross, what exactly are you looking at? Ethan raised one trembling hand toward the darkness beyond the glass. There, I can see them. The officers followed his finger. Nothing. Only empty space. Commander Celine frowned. Our sensors detect vacuum. Ethan whispered. They're standing. Everywhere. The bridge suddenly became uncomfortable. Not because anyone believed him. Because Ethan didn't sound frightened. He sounded confused. The medical officer quietly approached him. Have you slept? Yes. Any medication? No. Head injury? No. The doctor performed a rapid neurological scan. Everything was perfectly normal. Commander Celine crossed her arms. What do you see? Ethan never looked away from the window. They look like. He struggled to find the words. Living constellations. Almost transparent. They're enormous. Bigger than our ship. They aren't moving. They're just watching us. Silence. The bridge AI interrupted. Long-range sensors confirm empty space. The navigator smiled confidently. There. Even the AI agrees. Ethan finally turned around. His face had lost all color. What if our sensors are blind? Before anyone could answer, every light aboard the Asterion flickered once. Exactly once. The engines continued running. Life support remained stable. Only the lights blinked. The bridge AI spoke again. Unknown synchronization event detected. The science officer frowned. What synchronized? The AI paused. Then answered. Every atomic clock aboard this vessel lost exactly 1 second. The room fell silent. Commander Celine looked toward engineering. System malfunction? No, Commander. Every backup clock shows the same missing second. Impossible. Atomic clocks could not all fail simultaneously. Ethan quietly whispered. They moved. Commander Celine turned toward him. What? They weren't there before. Now they're closer. The observation window still showed nothing. At least, nothing the aliens could see. Ethan slowly stepped closer to the glass. His breathing became uneven. There are hundreds of them. No, thousands. The science officer checked every sensor again. Nothing. No radiation. No mass. No electromagnetic activity. Ethan spoke so quietly that almost nobody heard him. They're looking back. Suddenly, the ship's artificial intelligence interrupted every conversation. Its normally calm voice had changed. For the first time since launch, it sounded uncertain. Warning. Visual disagreement detected. Commander Celine froze. What does that mean? The AI replied. One biological observer reports objects that no confirmed sensor can detect. The navigator laughed. So the human is hallucinating. The AI answered immediately. Negative. Silence. The bridge grew colder. Commander Celine slowly asked. Explain. The AI processed for several long seconds. Then delivered a sentence that no one aboard had ever expected to hear. Human visual activity is internally consistent. Probability of hallucination. The number appeared above the command table. 0.03%. No one spoke. The science officer stared at Ethan. If you're not imagining them, then what are they? Ethan swallowed. He kept staring into the endless darkness. One of the glowing figures had just raised its hand. And it waved. A cold chill ran through Ethan's body. Very slowly, he lifted his own hand. The entire bridge watched in disbelief. The transparent giant smiled. Then, every light aboard the Astarion went out. Complete darkness. For exactly 3 seconds. When the emergency lighting returned, Ethan was no longer looking out the window. He was staring directly behind Commander Selene. His voice barely rose above a whisper. There inside the ship, the bridge fell into absolute silence. No one moved. Commander Selene slowly turned around. Nothing. Only the empty bridge behind her. The officers exchanged uneasy glances. The navigator forced a nervous laugh. There's no one there. Ethan didn't answer. His eyes remained locked on a point just behind the commander. His breathing became shallow. There, looking at you. Commander Selene felt an unexpected chill. Not fear. Instinct. The kind every soldier learns never to ignore. The bridge AI suddenly spoke. Internal environmental scan initiated. Blue sensor waves swept across every corridor of the ship. Every deck, every room, every ventilation shaft. After several seconds, the AI reported, no unauthorized lifeforms detected. The navigator smirked. There, the human is seeing ghosts. Ethan finally looked at him. No, if they wanted us dead, we'd already be dead. The confidence in his voice silenced everyone. Commander Selene stepped closer. What exactly are they doing? Ethan hesitated. They're studying us. The science officer activated another scanner. This time, not aimed at space. At Ethan. Brain activity appeared above the console. Then something strange happened. The scanner began highlighting areas of Ethan's visual cortex that no medical database could explain. The doctor frowned. That's impossible. Commander Selene looked over. What is it? The human brain is processing visual information. That isn't reaching our instruments. Silence. The doctor zoomed in. His eyes aren't different. His optic nerves aren't different. But his brain is decoding something ours can't. The bridge lights flickered again. This time, not once, 3 times. A low vibration spread through the ship. Engineering reported immediately. Commander, the engines didn't cause that. Another voice interrupted. Neither did life support. A third officer added, our shields just activated. By themselves. Commander Selene frowned. We didn't issue that command. No, Commander. The ship activated every defensive system automatically. Everyone turned toward the AI. Explain. The AI paused longer than usual. Almost, as if it were thinking. Finally it answered. External observation detected. Commander Selene's eyes narrowed. Observation by whom? Unknown. Ethan whispered. They're curious. The science officer couldn't hide his frustration. How can you possibly know that? Ethan pointed toward the observation window. The colors. They change. When they're interested, they glow. No one else saw anything. To the alien crew, space remained completely empty. Suddenly, the communications officer gasped. Commander, we're receiving a transmission. Everyone looked up. Source. The officer swallowed. I don't know. No frequency. No signal carrier. No identifiable origin. Commander Selene ordered. Play it. Silence. Nothing came through the speakers. The communications officer checked again. The system says it's transmitting. But there's no sound. Ethan slowly looked toward the ceiling. I can hear it. Every face turned toward him. Commander Selene spoke carefully. What do you hear? Ethan closed his eyes. His expression changed. The fear disappeared, replaced by sadness. They're asking. His voice trembled. Why nobody else can see them? The bridge became perfectly still. Even the navigator stopped smiling. Commander Selene asked softly, what else? Ethan listened again. They've been waiting. A very long time. How long? He opened his eyes. So long. They don't remember the last civilization that spoke to them. No one knew how to respond. The AI interrupted once more. Historical archive search complete. Commander Celine looked up. Results. Multiple civilizations throughout recorded history reported identical phenomena. The bridge froze. What? The AI projected dozens of ancient records into the air. Different species. Different galaxies. Different ages. Each report contained nearly the same sentence. One individual claimed to see invisible observers. Commander Celine stared at the reports. Why was this classified? The AI answered, because every witness disappeared within 72 hours. Silence. The doctor's face turned pale. Commander Celine slowly looked back at Ethan. You never told us. Have you seen them before? Ethan hesitated, then quietly nodded. When I was 8, the room fell silent. My parents thought I had imaginary friends. They said I talked to empty rooms. He looked toward the stars again. I wasn't talking to empty rooms. Commander Celine whispered, they've followed you. Your entire life. Ethan nodded once. They said. He stopped speaking. Commander Celine stepped closer. What did they say? A tear slowly rolled down Ethan's face. They told me, when humanity was finally ready, we would help everyone else see. At that exact moment, every screen aboard the Asterion turned white. No warning, no system failure, just pure white light. Then, one sentence appeared simultaneously on every display. Not in human language, not in any known alien language. Yet every person aboard understood it perfectly. The first has finally opened his eyes. The message remained for exactly 5 seconds. Then disappeared. The bridge AI spoke in a voice that no longer sounded entirely artificial. Unknown intelligence has requested permission. A long pause followed. Then came the words that made every heartbeat stop. To come aboard. To come aboard. No one on the bridge breathed. Commander Celine stared at the glowing message. Permission denied. The bridge AI responded instantly. Command accepted. 2 seconds passed. Then, the AI spoke again. Permission request withdrawn. The officers relaxed, until the AI quietly added, they never required permission. The temperature across the bridge dropped by 6 degrees. No alarms, no hull breach, no intruder alert, just cold. Commander Celine immediately ordered, seal every deck, lock every airlock, deploy internal security teams. Within seconds, armed coalition marines rushed through the corridors. Every motion sensor, every surveillance camera, every security drone, reported exactly the same result. Nothing. No intruders. No movement. No lifeforms. Yet Ethan slowly whispered, they're already here. Security Captain Drax entered the bridge carrying a plasma rifle. Commander, we've searched Deck 1. Nothing. Deck 2. Nothing. Engineering. Nothing. Ethan looked toward the captain. Don't point your weapon at them. Drax frowned. I don't see anyone. You don't. But they see you. The captain ignored him. He walked toward the observation window. The instant he reached it, his weapon suddenly powered off. The energy cell, completely drained. The bridge fell silent. One by one, every electronic weapon aboard the Asterion shut down. Not damaged. Simply inactive. Engineering reported in panic. Commander, the reactors are stable, but something is selectively disabling military systems. Medical equipment still works. Life support still works. Navigation still works. Only weapons. Commander Celine whispered, they're making a point. Ethan suddenly smiled. For the first time since entering the system, Commander Celine noticed immediately. Why are you smiling? They're curious. About what? They've never met a species that built weapons before understanding itself. Nobody answered, because somehow, that sentence felt painfully true. The science officer, Drive, Kalis, stepped toward Ethan. I want to try something. He handed Ethan a small neural interface. If they're really there, ask them something. What? Doctor. Kalis looked around the bridge. Ask them to prove they're real. Ethan hesitated, then quietly spoke toward empty space. If you're here, please help me. Nothing happened. 5 seconds. 10. 20. The navigator laughed. I knew. Suddenly, every star outside disappeared. Not because the ship moved. Not because lights failed. The universe itself went dark. Complete blackness surrounded the Asterion. No stars. No galaxies. No planets. Only endless darkness. Someone whispered, "What happened to the universe?" The bridge AI answered immediately. "External universe unchanged." Commander Celine looked around. "Then why can't we see it?" No answer came. "Only Ethan. They're showing us what they see." For nearly 1 minute, every alien aboard experienced something no civilization had ever recorded. Absolute cosmic silence. No light. No direction. No horizon. Just infinite emptiness. Several officers began trembling. One collapsed to his knees. The doctor whispered, "Our brains can't process this." Then, the stars returned, exactly where they had always been. The science officer's hands shook violently. "That was impossible." Ethan quietly corrected him. "No, it was a memory." Commander Celine turned sharply. "A memory of what?" Ethan listened again, then answered with tears in his eyes. "The universe. Before the first star." Silence. Every officer looked out the window again. For the first time, empty space no longer looked empty. Suddenly, the bridge AI interrupted. Its voice had changed again. Softer. Almost respectful. "Unknown entities have accepted human communication." Commander Celine stepped closer. "What about the rest of us?" The AI paused, then replied, "Communication denied." Reason. Another pause. Then the answer appeared across every screen. "They cannot see. Therefore they cannot yet understand." Commander Celine slowly looked toward Ethan. "So, you're our only bridge." Before Ethan could answer, one of the invisible beings stepped forward. For the first time, its outline became faintly visible. Not to everyone, only for a fraction of a second. Several alien officers gasped. I saw something. It disappeared." "Doctor." Kalis stared at his scanner. "Commander, my instruments just recorded the first impossible event in Coalition history." "What event?" He swallowed. "The entity cast a shadow." The room froze. Commander Celine frowned. "That's impossible." "Doctor." Kalis nodded slowly. "Exactly. It has no detectable mass. No measurable energy. No physical body." He looked back at the scan, unable to believe it. "And yet, it blocks light." At that exact moment, every display aboard the Asterion changed once again. A single symbol appeared. A circle, inside another circle, surrounded by countless tiny stars. Ethan's expression changed completely. He knew that symbol. He had drawn it hundreds of times as a child, without ever knowing why. Then the Veilborn spoke directly to him. Not with sound, not with words, but with perfect understanding. "The door is opening. The door is opening." The words echoed inside Ethan's mind. Not as sound, as certainty. He instinctively stepped toward the observation window. Commander Celine reached out. "Ethan, don't." He stopped, not because she pulled him back. Because one of the Veilborn gently raised its hand. It wasn't a command. It was a warning. Outside the ship, space itself began to ripple. Not like water. Like reality was slowly unfolding. Every star seemed to shift slightly out of place. The bridge AI immediately announced, "Unknown spatial event detected cause. Undefined drive." Kalis stared at his scanners. "They're not opening a wormhole. They're not bending space." He looked completely confused. "They're removing something." Commander Celine frowned. "Removing what?" Ethan answered quietly. "A curtain." Silence. Then, the darkness beyond the ship slowly peeled away. Not disappearing, opening. Behind it, another universe became visible. Not another galaxy. Another layer. A hidden reality that had existed beside the known universe all along. Countless Veilborn filled the endless cosmic ocean. Millions. No, billions of them. Some were larger than planets. Others drifted between galaxies like silent guardians. None of them spoke. They simply watched. Commander Celine fell to one knee. "I can, I can see them, one by one." The officers gasped. "I see them too." "Impossible. My scanners still show nothing." "Doctor." Kalis looked from the window to his instruments again and again. "My eyes see them. My sensors don't. This breaks every law of physics." The Veilborn nearest the ship smiled. For the first time, everyone saw it. It wasn't terrifying. It was deeply peaceful. Then, one enormous Veilborn slowly extended its hand. Inside its translucent palm, entire galaxies glowed like tiny lights. Ethan whispered, "They're not showing power. They're showing responsibility." Commander Selene looked at him. "How do you know?" "They're sharing thoughts." "What are they saying?" Ethan listened. Tears filled his eyes. "They've protected intelligent life since before the first civilization existed." The bridge fell silent. "They don't rule the universe. They protect its possibility." Dr. Kalis asked, "Then why hide?" The answer came instantly through Ethan. "Because civilizations that see too early stop exploring." Another Veilborn stepped forward. This one was different, smaller. Its light shimmered with countless colors. It looked directly at Ethan. Then every person aboard heard the same thought. Every intelligent species reaches this moment. Most never notice us. Some fear us. Very few are ready. Commander Selene finally found her voice. "What made humanity different?" The Veilborn answered without hesitation. "Curiosity." Images filled every mind. The first human looking at the stars. The first fire. The first telescope. The first spacecraft. The first child asking, "Why?" Every discovery, every mistake, every impossible dream, had carried humanity closer to this moment. The Veilborn continued, "Most civilizations seek certainty. Humans seek understanding." Dr. Kalis lowered his head. "That's why only humans could see you." The Veilborn's light brightened. "No." Silence. Humans were simply the first to keep looking. Commander Selene felt something change inside her. For the first time in her long military career, she realized how small the known galaxy truly was. The Veilborn gently turned toward the stars. Then another vision appeared. Hundreds of galaxies. Thousands. Millions. Each watched over by silent guardians. The universe had never been empty. It had never been silent. It had been patiently waiting for someone willing to see beyond what instruments could measure. The bridge AI suddenly spoke. Its synthetic voice carried an emotion no machine should possess. "Mission status updated." Commander Selene looked up. "What mission?" The AI replied, "First contact, successful." No one celebrated. No one cheered. Because every person on the bridge understood. History had just changed forever. The Veilborn slowly began to fade. Before disappearing, the nearest one looked at Ethan one final time. Its last words echoed through every mind. "Tell them, the universe is far more alive than they ever imagined." A heartbeat later, the hidden layer folded back into silence. The stars returned to normal. The Veilborn were gone, or perhaps, simply unseen again. Weeks later, the Astarion returned to Coalition space. The official report contained only one sentence. Human observers detected a form of intelligent life beyond conventional perception. Most governments refused to believe it. Some called it impossible. Others classified the mission forever. But one change could not be hidden. Across the Coalition, new exploration programs were created. Not to search for stronger weapons or richer worlds, but to search for what science had overlooked. On the observation deck, Commander Selene stood beside Ethan. She quietly asked, "Do you think we'll ever see them again?" Ethan smiled as he looked into the stars. "I don't think they ever left." The camera pulled back. The Astarion became a tiny point of light crossing the galaxy. Then, for just a single second, millions of enormous glowing eyes opened silently between the stars. Watching, waiting, smiling. The end. Thanks for watching. If you love epic sci-fi stories, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to HFY Sci-Fi for more unforgettable adventures across the galaxy. See you in the next story.